Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, Special Assistant to the Mayor for Community, Culture, and Belonging.
And I'm Andy Anam, the Communications Director for the city.
And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
Our conversation today is with someone who has turned life experience into a career of building bridges and guiding people through challenges. Who are we introducing today?
This week's guest is Douglas Haase, the Executive Director of the Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center. Hey, Doug, how's it going?
It's going very well. I'm very appreciative of you guys having me in and having a conversation with me today.
We are very excited about this because I can't think of a better resource than one that solves conflict. So we're excited about this conversation. But before we jump into it, can you please tell us a little something about yourself and your association with Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region?
I grew up in the Fox Valley. I grew up in Neenah, Menasha, and sometimes Appleton. I graduated from Winneconne High School and was encouraged then to serve in the military. I joined the Navy in 1990, 91. And after I retired in 2018, I came back to the area, and I've been in Neenah, Menasha, Appleton since then.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And can you please tell us about your resource now?
Well, the Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center is it's a new mediation services office that has been created to serve the county courthouse in resolving small claims and evictions specifically, but hopefully we can expand that and assist with other mediation opportunities out of the courts and out of the community. We're looking forward to being there and being able to give a conflict resolution service the opportunity to especially the low-income and members of our community that can't afford a lawyer, don't know how to go about getting things resolved, and may have an issue that they need help with. So we're happy to serve and fill that void and be a resource for them to communicate and come to us so we can help them resolve whatever those conflicts might be.
So is the goal maybe is to provide an easier to navigate solution than actually having to go to court for some of the conflict?
Yes and no. Our goal is to serve members and people that might not otherwise have another opportunity. We were established specifically in kind of mirroring what some of the other counties have done, which is creating a system that supports the county courthouse in minimizing the pressure on their dockets. Too many litigations, too many things that are rescheduled, too many things that have to be brought back, motions, petitions, and things that create a longer and more intensive environment for resolving cases that go to the courts. So what we do is we fill a void there where the courts can refer cases to mediation, a situation where they can sit down, have a discussion with each other, come to an agreement. We write that agreement up, we submit it to the courts, and then the courts are allowed or are able then to dismiss those cases because the parties that were in conflict now have an agreement that they have come to resolve together and can move forward with.
So how long has this been established, and what kind of need have you seen in this community?
So mediation has been growing. I mean, it's been part of legal lexicon for centuries. It has become part of a normal process, and it's growing throughout the U.S., and it's been since the 70s that has started to become more prolific and gaining traction throughout the country itself. The Winnebago Center is one of the pillars of mediation in our state, and they've been around for, I think, about 20 years now. Mm-hmm. So they've had some successes that we can point at to say that those are areas that we can support Outagamie County in the same manner. Brown County has their own mediation center, and with similar results to national numbers, there are definitely advantages and things that we can offer Outagamie County and its citizens that have been available to other counties regionally and locally for a while, but we think there's a niche there. We think there's a service that we can provide to the community and to the members of Outagamie County and Appleton.
So, what does that team look like? Is this a one-man show, or is there a team helping to do this?
That's a really good question. Right now, I'm a one-man show, but I have a really phenomenal board behind me. Very varied and eclectic skill sets that I have been able to lean on and utilize in bridging the gaps and coming to any areas where we might not, or I might not have a skill that can make sure that we can succeed. The team itself is a team of volunteers. So what we have is we have a program that we can utilize to train volunteers to come in to become mediators, professional neutrals, and then they serve as mediators for the courthouse. They serve as mediators for the community via schedule, via the need for them to come in. The community itself would reach out to me or to an assistant if we succeed, and I eventually have an assistant or two to utilize the scheduling process and then to reach out to the volunteers, have them come in and serve in those capacities as a mediator for resolving those conflicts.
Wow. Okay. So you can get trained and become one of these mediators.
Yes, sir.
So the representation portion of it could be anybody.
It could, and it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Part of my background, I served in an HR capacity for about 20 of my 27 years. And once I retired, I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do. I was introduced to alternative conflict resolution, and I found out that mediation was an area in Winnebago specifically. I got trained there by some phenomenal people there and became a mediator. And I found out that it really is, it's mana for me. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for 20 years in a different capacity, but it is really, really rewarding.
Now I have too many questions because it's a very, very different zone. And when I think of mediation, and it's always like union contracts coming into my mind, and you have to do the mediation between the two. But what is the process looks like? How the things move from point A to point B when you are navigating this complex court system. So how do people get in touch with you? Or is it like the court system directs you to do that, or basically you stop them by helping in mediation to not go to the court system so that they don't get overwhelmed with number of cases? So how this process works?
That's a great question. I mean, it gets right to the heart of what we do too. The courts themselves, when they have cases, a lot of times the commissioners, when they do the preliminary hearings, they can recognize that there's an opportunity for the parties to resolve it on their own. So they will refer them, sometimes directing them, to go to mediation. The Mediation Services Office, Resolution Center in Winnebago, the Mediation Center of Greater Green Bay and Brown County, they are an outlet for that. And there are private outlets as well. We hope, and we're planning, and we will serve in Outagamie County in that capacity. So a lot of the things we get are court-ordered. They court-order them to mediation. They'll recommend that they go to mediation without the court order, or they'll inform the parties that there is mediation available. So we could get in any of those three different ways from the courthouse. We also have advertising so that people know if they are in conflict. They can either go on our websites, request mediation, they can call, we can schedule a mediation for them, sometimes assisting them, contacting the other party to say, are you willing to sit down and talk to them? But what it takes is two parties or three parties or four parties, however many it is, that are willing to sit down, have the discussion. Then we set the stage, we create the environment, we create the ground rules for the discussion, discuss it, and then they come to an agreement themselves. Once they come to an agreement to resolve the conflict, we write it up, and then they all sign it. And they walk out of that mediation with an agreement with a path forward towards final resolution.
Wow.
So from what I hear, it sounds like this is in place above us and below us. And when I say that, I mean, it sounds like this is something they maybe have in Brown County already, and maybe something they already have in Winnebago County. Is that what I'm hearing? And then is there a cost associated with this?
As I mentioned earlier, the Resolution Center in Winnebago County has been there for quite a while. I don't know the length of time that Green Bay has been there, but they are well established as well. Both have phenomenal people working there. I'm in touch with them. They're friends of mine. And I really admire what they've done and hope we can mirror and utilize their expertise to make sure that we can follow along and do our bit here.
And is there a cost associated with it?
Yes. There is a cost normally. Mediation services, when they're granted by a mediation service organization, generally runs on an hourly basis. It can run on a content or case basis. You'll see that non-attorney mediators will charge anywhere between $150 to $350 an hour. Attorneys then, because they're training and expertise, generally between $300 and $500, sometimes more per hour. Our services at the Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center are funded by the county and community providers, community donors, great organizations out there. So what we're intending to do is provide 2 hours of free mediation to any resident that brings a conflict to us.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That offsets quite a bit of cost, like if you get 2 hours of free mediation. So normally, typically, what is the duration like, when you get into a typical mediation case, like does it range from a couple of hours to a couple of days? Like what is the duration? What does it look like?
It could be. It could be anywhere between 10 minutes to multiple days. It depends on the complexity of the case. A lot of times the heavy-duty complex ones, family mediations, custody battles, those things like that will take longer and multiple sessions, have to get different information to bring to the session so that they can have the right information to make the right decisions. Some of the other ones that are much more fast and furious, if you will, things like eviction cases.
Right.
If an eviction case comes into the courthouse, we'll try to grab both parties, sit them down. It's usually pretty straightforward what the contest is. So then deciding or having them work into an agreement and come to a amicable decision is less onerous because it's mostly straightforward. So those can be done I've seen them done in 15 minutes. Sometimes they take longer, depending on if there's money involved or if it's just a matter of, hey, when can we have you move out or when can we have this issue resolved so we can move on with our normal lives.
I can tell you any mediation I'm doing is going to be less than 2 hours. 1 hour and 59 minutes.
So how do you prep for different kind of cases? Because there could be so many nature of cases. One could be eviction, one could be marriage based. It could be a number of subjects. So do you have to study when you take up the cases? Like when do you get that prep time?
See, I think that's where we have the advantage over the legal system. Because as a mediator, we really don't want to know the background.
Okay.
What we want to know is, are the parties willing to sit down? Are they willing to talk to each other? And if they are, let's do it in an environment where we're mitigating high emotions. We're making sure that we're keeping, people on the, just the facts, ma'am, kind of,
right.
Mindset. And once we get that, then people have the opportunity to share their story. A lot of times what we see in court proceedings is people that have had, challenges in their lives. They've lost their jobs. They've, had family issues. They've got, other things that are pressing down on them. A lot of times their expectation is if they're brought to court for something that they, may not have control over, that the judges will listen to them and they'll rule for us because they can see that we're, in a bad way. The legal system doesn't have the opportunity, really, the latitude to do that. And that's a misperception I think is pretty endemic throughout the country, throughout, the average citizen. So we have the opportunity then to establish that environment, allow them to share their story, share their challenges with the people they're in contest with. So the people they're in contest with then can say, okay, well, this is my perspective. And once they've both had the opportunity to share their side of it, it really humanizes the other side. So it really motivates them as people. Everybody has a heart. We all want to make sure that we're not seen as the bad guy. So it really motivates them to come to an agreement, to find some sort of compromise where we can both move forward without this hanging over them. So the mediation process itself doesn't require evidence. It doesn't require us to do background checks and find the exact facts and information about it. It's more about us providing an environment for the parties to come to an agreement on their contest, on their conflict.
So you mentioned the two I heard you mention were like custody and eviction.
Yeah.
Those seem like those might be part of the big two. What other kinds of cases are there? Things that, and I ask this because somebody is listening right now and they're thinking, I don't know if what I have falls under that umbrella or if there's an opportunity there. So I'm kind of asking, what other examples are there?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of the issues with people not utilizing mediation more, if they don't know what it is, but they not know it's a resource. I do want to back up, and if you don't mind, the Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center is not backstopped or intended to handle custody or family mediation.
Okay.
Outagamie County Court has a family court services office. They have a family mediation center, and they handle all of that. We're very careful not to step on their toes. They're doing a phenomenal job, and I think us stepping in would challenge the quality of the work anyway. So we definitely want to focus on and specialize in pretty much everything else. So when we think about things that you could come to, what I've seen in the past or heard is, let's say my neighbor's tree falls down in the wind and hits my fence. Who's responsible for it? Tree was on my property, so I'm responsible for it. It was my fence, I should pay for it. Or because it was their tree, they should pay for it. So simple things like that. Somebody's driving over my lawn, and they won't talk to me. Anything from that to, I borrowed my best friend $1,000 2 years ago, and he said he was going to pay me back, but he's not. So it could be really anything. If you're in conflict with someone else, you're considering litigation, or if you just don't know where to go, you could contact us, and we'd be happy to sit down and with the other party and try to find an agreement.
And can this be done before it ever gets to court? So in other words, like, it's not something that has to be a court referral. Could people come and try to get the mediation on their own and just be like, yeah, let's get this handled?
Yes.
In less than 2 hours.
Well, it doesn't have to be handled in 2 hours. We offer the 2 free. But yeah, it is something that, they don't have to go to court. It doesn't have to have a court filing. In fact, if it has a court filing, then we have to then go back to the court and with the agreement to say, hey, they've reached an agreement. Now the court has to take action to either dismiss the case, to delay it, whatever their terminology is for it, but to put it on in the back burner while the agreement plays out. So generally what we see is if we have a court case that they refer to us, we'll provide them a copy of the agreement so they know that it's been handled. It doesn't have to go to court. They can definitely contact us directly via the website, phone calls, email to me, email to my assistant when I have one, if I have one, and we can schedule those and take care of it without anybody else needing to know. And honestly, that's another benefit that you don't really see a lot because it's entirely confidential. If you have a conflict with your neighbor that you don't want the rest of your neighbors to know about, call us up. We can help you resolve that. And it doesn't have to be a public filing. So.
Wow. So can you share a story that is very close to your heart so that people understand the impact of the organization and the resource you provide?
Yes. A couple of years ago, I handled an eviction case. And it was a member that he was a vet. He was on a fixed income. He was disabled. And he was living in a apartment complex. He'd been there for a number of years. The apartment complex sold, and the new owners didn't have the same rapport with him that he had with the building manager. So then during the course of the sale, he had a pet. He had a cat that he had, service animal, had been living with him for years. And the building manager that he had a rapport with knew. He had told her, she said, okay, no problem. I'll remove the pet fee from your lease. Well, during the course of the sale, she forgot or didn't do it. So when the new owners processed his lease, they saw that he had been behind 3 months of his pet rent and had sent him a letter, say, hey, you got to pay your pet rent. He sent a letter back, said, well, I don't have a pet. They didn't, change it or challenge it. Now they're saying, hey, you still owe us money, you're back. He's saying, I'm not paying this. And they filed for eviction. Of Of course, it was the new owners, so they had filed a number of them, couldn't meet with everybody. So there's challenges on both sides. But when it went to court, they both agreed to go to mediation. We sat down. As soon as the new owners heard that his pet had died, that was the case. He had the vet's bills and showed it all. They said, "Oh, we're sorry. Let's negotiate this." And now instead of him having to move out within a couple of days, they had resolved a payment plan for him to come up to date with his rent, and they had forgave what they had seen in the lease as a unpaid debt. So they backdated the lease change. He no longer had to pay that. He didn't have to move out. And now we had created a rapport between the new owners and a longtime resident so they could move forward.
That's a win.
It certainly was. And it's not an unusual story. It's near and dear to me because I was the mediator and because I'm a vet. So it touched me probably more than it would have others, but it's part of what I think mediation offers to our community is that we can create conversations that empower the community. It's taking a conflict and making it into a connection.
That's powerful, and there's a dialogue which, happens.
Are there any upcoming initiatives, events, or engagement opportunities?
Right now, we don't have any scheduled. We've given a few in the past month or two, but we're open to anybody that might want us to come out and do further events. More than willing to come out and talk to communities, talk to businesses, have them come out and talk about what we can offer.
Is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
Yes, there certainly is. Passing the word, making sure that our information is out there for anybody that might be in conflict. A lot of times what we see in the younger community is they're much more online, and some of us older members are not quite as online. So making sure that they know and can find us to help them resolve conflicts that are out there. For anybody else that wants to get involved, we're based on volunteer mediators. We train anybody that wants to do it, has the proclivity for it, and wants to help their fellow citizens to overcome conflicts and create neighborhood connections.
So who can people contact if they want to learn more?
Well, they could go to our website. It's OCCRC, Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center.org, OCCRC.org. Or they could email me directly, call me directly. The opportunities for them are definitely there, and we want to make sure that we're available for the community to utilize our services.
And Appleton Engaged listeners, we will have Doug's contact information in the podcast notes in case you would like to reach out. Doug, I was just thinking, is there currently a location for the Resolution Center?
There is. This is the unusual part of Outagamie County's Resolution Center as opposed to some of the other ones. We have a business address. We're located right downtown Appleton. Well, sort of downtown Appleton. We're on West College Avenue, 10033 West College Avenue. And you can come visit us at our spaces. Come talk to us. If you walk in there, find me there, and we can sit down and talk about scheduling We can talk about scheduling your mediation or resolving your conflicts.
Is there any additional information you feel is important for the Appleton Engaged listeners to know that maybe we didn't ask a question about?
A good question as well. Despite the fact that we're called the Outagamie County Conflict Resolution Center, we are not a county entity. So we're not associated with the government itself, committed to providing services to the county courts, to the citizens of Outagamie County. But we're a nonprofit, privately funded. Any sort of contact that's out there, we're already engaged with J.J. Keller, with Community Foundation, United Way, in providing services, and just being part of that community has been, an eye-opening experience for me, and I'm truly looking forward to continuing to work with community members that are dedicated like I am and we are to serving the community.
Now the time to shout out. So who do you want to send your shout out to?
Well, that list is long. It's huge. I've been doing this for about 3 months. The board members that created this nonprofit have been doing it for a little over a year, diligently working towards getting us together. Jennifer Sundstrom, Joe Godot, who is the core counsel at the county. Ryan Massey is our treasurer. Amanda Moore is our fundraising expert. Tom Huff, he was a former executive director at another MSO. Brad Gehring, who is a former county sheriff. Katrin Patience, who is one of the county board supervisors. that's my board, and I couldn't do it without them. So shout out to all of them. My mentor who got me in, Michael Rust, he's a judge down in Winnebago County. And another mentor who's really helped me on the admin side is Kim Cooper. She's also a former executive director for the Resolution Center. So just great people. And I wouldn't have even met Timber if it wasn't for Jane Webazinski. So I got to shout her out too.
Well, Doug, here on Appleton Engage, from us and our listeners, we just want to take a moment and say thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you all in the future as well. And if you need any mediation services, you know where to find us.
In less than 2 hours.
Yes, sir.
All right, Appleton Engaged listeners, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about another amazing resource in our community, helping to make our community a better place, a stronger place, a place where you feel like you belong. I can't think of something better than having a resource that helps to find resolution amongst us. That's an amazing thing to have within our community, and we're really glad that we had the opportunity to share that with the listeners. Appleton Engaged listeners, you already know what our goal is. Our goal is to be the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, and we need your help if we're ever going to reach that goal. And what does that look like? Well, as you listen to these episodes and you're thinking, Timber, I wish you would have asked that. Andy, you should have mentioned that. Well, let us know. Let us know how we can be better. Let us know if you would like different segments or different questions. Let us know if you would like to be a guest. Let us know if you would like to recommend a guest. That is how we got Doug here today. And you can do all that by reaching out to us at belonging@appletonwi.gov. Once again, that is belonging@appletonwi.gov. Also, our goal here is to get this amazing resource known as the Appleton Engaged podcast in front of as many community members' eyes and ears, because we feel that a more connected community is a stronger community. When we learn about these resources together, I think that definitely connects us all. So how can you help? While you listen to this podcast, if you see a subscribe button, hit it. If you see the opportunity to give 5 stars, do it. And if you see the opportunity to write a review, take a few moments and do that for us too. These are all things that increase our analytics, and the better our analytics are, the more community members get to learn about this amazing resource known as the Appleton Engaged podcast.
Thank you so much, Doug. From this conversation, I think I have understood that the power of dialogue amidst the disagreements, and that creates and paves the way for community connection. So thank you so much for sharing this perspective, which I didn't think before, but now I'm much more informed. Please learn about the Resolution Center, and I hope you don't require the mediation, but if you do, you are in trusted hands. That's all I can say. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.